Oh, that's better. Is that better, guys? Cool. I think now we're in the hood. Guys, welcome. Sorry about the technical difficulties. Sorry about keep moving our weekly stuff. I don't mean to do it. Sometimes just life in the fast lane kind of thing, you know, you end up moving the YouTube lives a little bit. But frankly, yesterday I just had some errands to run, and that's why we had to move the YouTube live. It happened to be my birthday yesterday, 28 years old. Can you believe I made it till whole 28? There's no better feeling. 28 is like the perfect age where you're still like a stud, but you're not old yet. And you're not like in your mid-30s, just all decrepit and stuff. 28 is like the perfect age. So I'm very happy to be 28 whole years old. But I'm not a big fan of the happy birthday thing. There are no happy birthdays after the age of 24 and a half. You know, so I would prefer to just my birthday be known as the day I came out of my mother's womb in a very messy fashion. That's going to be the new thing to say instead of, I don't look 30, man. Come on. I don't look 30. I got this cool hat, man. I wear mesh hats. Come on. So no longer will we be using happy birthday terminology at Bulls on Wall Street. It's just the day, the anniversary of my womb coming out party. So let's talk a little bit about the markets. So why I had to miss yesterday was it seems that you have to renew your driver's license every blue moon. And I always wait till the last day. And the last couple times I've done that, my driver's license gets suspended, which is not a big deal. But then what happens with my Porsche, the leasing company cancels your lease if you don't have proper insurance, and your insurance gets canceled if you don't have a license. And so I had to run to the Secretary of State yesterday and cancel the YouTube live, but I won't be doing it again for at least 2 to 3 weeks, I promise. So a lot of exciting stuff is happening in the market because, you know, we've been doing this the last couple months and it's like the market's just been going down. Well, we are starting to see some action in the markets. We're starting to see some stabilization in the markets. And so that's important. And you always lease versus buy when you're talking about sports cars because you can write it off. And also, I trashed the shit out of these cars. You know, I put 30,000 miles on my old Porsche in like 18 months. I drive these things. I don't have some old hag, right, that just, you know, takes them out for a spin on a Saturday. I take mine across the country, beating them up. And so I like to get a new one every 2 years. So I lease those things versus buy, even though it's a ripoff to lease because you end up paying the whole, you know, you end up paying like 50, 60 grand just to have the car for a couple years. Still better than keeping some beater that you kick the crap out of. But like I was saying, there's a lot of exciting stuff happening in the market because we're starting to finally get a little bit of stabilization. You know, we're starting to get a little stabilization action. And what's better than that, right? And so when you're looking at the market, some cool stuff is happening. Cool stuff is happening. So one of the things that's been happening is, you know, Bitcoin has really been on just like this epic downturn, right, for a whole long period of time. And we've just had like a big range, big candles every day. And then lately what's happened is the range is contracted and you're starting to see some supports build. Along with some supports building, what we're starting to see is something that's really interesting is that, you know, the news flow is changing a little bit. What I mean by news flow is changing a little bit. You know, you're starting to see PRs come out of like hedge funds getting into Bitcoin. George Soros and different hedge funds are starting to invest into it. But the volatility has really gone away, right? Like these big candles, instead now we're getting little baby candles. Range compression is very important for trading. So now we've had this big pop and we've broken up over multiple moving averages, which is really good. The issue now is that, we don't know if this is anything. It's just a one-day pop. It very well could just roll back over, but it's constructive. When we think about trading, we have to think about baby steps. The market doesn't heal in one day, but what we're looking for is constructive action that says, hey, there's potential opportunity. So we have this basing period, and then now we've broken over the 9 EMA and the 20 SMA. And you can see, like, right, we've had this nice base, and we've broken out over it. And so now, okay, we've had one good day. Good. Now, what happens after that? Well, we need follow through, right? We need the second day and the third day and the fourth day. And they don't have to come in a row. We could be down tomorrow and then pop up and then be down and then keep popping up. And, that can happen sometimes too. But this is a start. That's all we can ask for is, do we have the start of potentially something? Well, the breaking over 2 levels of resistance is frankly just really important. And man, that's going to be huge. Now, the other thing that this coincides with is the fact that, the S&P 500 is also kind of started to rebound a little bit. So one of the things that we're starting to see is there's a little bit of a correlation that's been happening with the general stock market and the cryptocurrency market. And when the market itself is tanking, the cryptocurrency markets have also been tanking. With an increase in the market, it's telling us that risk is on in the market, meaning a speculative investment. And that's been boding well for our good old-fashioned cryptocurrency. So right now, like, we're long a bunch of stuff in the chat room on the crypto side. Will it hold? Who knows? But right now it's very constructive, and so that's good. Ethereum, same type of thing. See how is this coming down, 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 down? When we get this sideways movement and you break over, the first thing that we were talking about last time we were on is we need to see a break and a close over the 9 EMA. When we got a break and a close over the 9 EMA, that was really bullish, okay? Because the 9-day moving average, guys, remember this. The 9-day moving average signifies our short-term trend. So when it starts to curl higher and you break and close over it, that tells us on a short-term basis that the selling has subsided. And so now we've got a really, really nice kind of thing going. And look, the thing that we have to always be mindful of with the markets is, is there, man, what is this thing going? There we go. The thing that we've got to always ask ourselves is there continuous follow through? So we closed over the 9 EMA this day. Then we stayed and we closed over it again. Then we closed over it again. And now we thrust it over the 20 SMA. So we've broken over 2 levels of resistance. And you can see we got a nice rounding pattern. See how that 9 EMA curls for the girls to the upside? See how it's curling up? That tells us that the short-term trend is now higher. Now, look, the intermediate term trend and are still down, but at least on a short-term basis, it's got that going. So that's one of the things to just keep an eyeball on as we're starting to go with this. And we've been long in this thing. We added some Ethereum yesterday at 418, and then we added it again today in the 460s. But so far, it's looking fairly good. So right now, we are seeing constructive signs in the market. Now, the key will be, how does the market act when we start getting towards some levels of resistance? Like the 500 spot on Ethereum or even 600. Do we break through it or do we fade right back off? And that'll be the telltale sign. But, you know, right now we could just be getting an oversold bounce, right? We were really oversold coming from 900 down to threes. You know, we might just be getting an oversold bounce. It doesn't necessarily mean it's a turn. But once again, it is acting constructive. And that's something that, you know, we need to always be thinking about when we're looking at just the general markets. And you can start to see one thing that I measure, guys, in terms of if we have a healthy market or not. What I want to see, so that I know that we have a trader's market, a healthy market, I want to see if there's any speculation in the market. Meaning, are some of the altcoins making runs? That would tell me that there's speculation coming in the market. And there is, you know, this EOS, which is something that we've traded quite often over the last year, came out of this zone at 6 and made a massive run to 9. We were day trading this a little bit yesterday. But, you know, going from 6 to 9, that's a 50% gain. So that's a huge, huge gain. And yeah, the volume candles, it looks like, are wrong. Let me just switch those around real quick. It always does it. I always keep switching them back. And it just fucking TradingView does that to me every time. So see this? When you see an altcoin do this, it's called speculation. We want to see that. NEO, which is something that we're in right now from about $50, give or take, 64. So this thing goes from 45, 64. That's a huge gain, right? So that's called speculation. What we want to see is big moves, right? What you see here with OMG. Look at this break when it got over 10 today. So it had a range break. Guys, a range break can be very powerful in cryptocurrency. So, you know, this thing had a range for the last couple weeks, just sitting around at like the 10 spot. And when it busted over today, very, very powerful, right? That's what we want to see in the market, is when we start to get those basing periods, those sideways consolidations, if we can rip above them and actually start the trend, which we're starting to see here in the OMG coin, that's a sign to me that the market is starting to stabilize. And that gets me excited. That's a browner right there. You know, IOTA today, same type of deal, right? Basing pattern. And now this thing's up about 21% today. Very, very, very good. You can see Batcoin, ADA. A lot of these little guys are coming right off the bottom. This ADA, by the way, is hot. I mean, this thing is hot. Like, this thing is, you know, just sitting here at the 13-cent range or whatever. Broke over multiple levels, resistance. Now it's at the 50 SMA. If it gets over that, you're going to see this thing at the 30 spot really, really quickly. This thing's got tons of room to run. I know everybody likes the Ripple, but, you know, I think ADA is probably a much hotter chart. Ripple's probably one of the shittiest coins in the history of the world. But I love the ADA is looking good. So there's a lot of kind of fun stuff happening. Now, would I just chase something up 25%? No. Would I chase something up 25%, 30%? No. You got to wait for a pullback or another breakout before you get going. And that's just going to be huge. Is it coming in blurry? Shit, I don't know. Let me see. Let me see if this thing is on. OHD. Woo! Let me try to mess with my settings a little bit. Oh, okay. It's good. Damn, Tricky Trav. What's up with that? No, I'm just messing. Don't worry about it. Yeah, and the Ripple's going. So you're starting to see a little action coming in, picking these things off the bottom. So there is, I think, a lot of positive things that are happening in the market. And I'm frankly excited for it. You know, I'm frankly excited for it because we deserve it. We have been sitting around like a bunch of paupers for the last God knows how long, just waiting, praying for the market to, right? For the market to go and do what it's going to do. And here we are at very cheap prices and the market's going. Another one of my favorites, Quantum. You know, you can see this thing, right? Double bottoms at 1250, breaks and closes over the 9, which is always important. And now this thing is really off to the run. I love this one also. We're getting a lot of speculative action. I want to see some alts go, right? It's more, a lot of times what's happened historically is when Bitcoin goes up a lot of the altcoins just die. But these things are running. These things are running. And so there's some huge action in this stuff. And oh, man. So let's talk a little bit about strategies. Let's talk a little bit of strategies on how to profit from some of these bad boys. So when you think about trading, hold on here. When you think about trading, right, trading comes down into a couple things. So when you think about trading, there's two things. You can just try to buy these things when you think they're going to go up, but we know that that doesn't work. That causes losses. As traders, we want to focus in on periods where the odds are in our favor, meaning that if you're a trader, right, you're no different than a lawyer. What you have to do as a trader is build a case to make sure that a coin is worth your time and your money and your capital. And so like a lawyer, you need to compile pieces of evidence in your favor to say, okay, this is a coin that I believe is worth trading or investing in. It's worth my hard-earned money, right? My mental and financial capital. And so what we want to be doing is always focusing on patterns. So I'll show you like a bottoming pattern that we used on NEO just 2 days ago to get it around 51.90, give or take, in the chat room. And it's a very, very simple strategy. While NEO was falling, we didn't just step in front of the bus and say, you know what? I'm gonna lay my balls on the train tracks and let the train run over it. And hopefully I have some semblance of a wiener left for me to play with the market, guys. No, we like to say, you know what? When the market is ready, I'm going to whip it out and smack the market in the face with it. And you've got to do and wait for a pattern for that to happen. So let's talk about the wiener in the face pattern, which I find to be really one of the most powerful patterns in the market. And if you're ever going to do some kind of porno trick like that, you want to wait for this type of pattern. So let's make sure that we've got this thing locked down. So let's get out our papers and pencils. Let's get out our charts and let's get something hot going. So let's talk a little bit about this. So NEO. So you can see like NEO. So this is how I kind of like to trade altcoins. So this is coming down. So it's at 80 bucks. It's coming down, 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 coming down. Gets down to $40. All right? $40. Now, like I told you, I don't like to get involved with these when they're below the 9 EMA. See how that's like below the 9? I need to see that break and close above it. Now, once it's above, I know that we're above our short-term moving average. And by the way, holy crap, there's some action going on right now. Look at that NEO go. And even Ethereum is about to bust loose. If you guys aren't in this thing right now, this is your last chance. This is about to go down. Look at that thing. But let's get ahead of ourselves. I'm also in BNB. So I'm in BNB, ETH, and NEO at the moment. I had a boatload of EOS yesterday, but I sold it for some profits. But let's talk a little bit about this NEO. So I'm waiting for it to break and close over that 9 before I'm really ready to get involved. So one of the things that you'll see, and this is like the telltale whale to do it. So when NEO started to go, check this out. So when NEO started to go, you know, like you can see it's coming off its bottom. It pops up here, comes down, pops up. So I don't know really if this is the bottom or not. So I'm just waiting for a pattern. So when we get involved in this thing, you know, we hit this thing originally on this breakout, you know, and this thing ran up quite a bit. This thing ran up all the way to 57 bucks. Now, the problem with this one was that it ran up while I was sleeping. And so then by the time I kind of woke up out of my stupor, you know, it had already come back down, and I held this thing down to like 51 before I got out. So I only made $3 on this thing the first go around. Even though at one time I had a good 10 spot on it, I was up about 5 G's on this thing, and I ended up making like 800 bucks or whatever. It was awful. But once something spikes like that, I know that it's ready to go. So once something spikes like that, even if it comes all the way back down, doesn't matter. Like once I know that the Spikezilla is in the air, I'm going to get really excited because I know it can re-spike. That the momentum, the speculation, the amazingness is all in the air. It's all in the air for the taking. So I just got to wait. So like you can see what kind of cruises down on this thing. So NEO, I'm looking for a bottom essentially after this spike back down. So you can see like it starts making a bottom at 51. Right? We're making a bottom, but it doesn't mean anything. Right? Does not mean anything just yet. So this thing is just hanging and hanging. And whoa, hold on here. So it's just hanging and hanging and hanging. Whoa, let me move this thing across. There we go. So what I'm doing is I want to see multiple tests of a support. That's how I know that we have like a rounding bottom pattern. So this thing comes down to 49, pops up, comes back down to 49, pops up a little bit, but there's no pattern here for me to take. So it comes back down, and I start to get all this rounding. What I'm looking for is all these MAs to start to flatten out and then start to curl higher. So as this thing busts over the VWAP, okay, as this thing busts over the VWAP, now I want to see if it holds. The reason I didn't buy it here was it never held, right? I want to see if it holds. So like this thing goes, pops down, and pops up over the VWAP. Perfect. Now it's holding. So like your first pullback, if you can still hold, you have confirmation in this thing. And so, you know, we ended up with this thing like 51.90, but that's what gives us the confirmation. And then what I want to do is just put my stop loss right under this base. So it's a really simple pattern. You got a hot daily chart, a rounding base intraday. Once this thing breaks and holds over the VWAP, now we are in the game. Right now we're in the game to pate and get this thing going. So this thing runs up to 53, comes back down, blah, 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 into the next spike, into this kind of 50, 53s, 54s. You can see like it's still just coming up. And so I'm just holding this thing because it's above my buy price and I've got targets. You know, I tell my guys the target is going to be, right, the old highs around 57. So then as this thing starts spiking into the 55s, I take a piece off as we have profit. And then it's just about letting the rest ride. You know, it's about scaling out. So as this thing spikes into the 59, I sell off another fourth. And then I always keep 1/4 for lotto. So as this thing is now just sitting around, right, I'm just still holding my 1/4 to keep going. Now, I could have kept adding to this. So I lost a little bit of focus to this. You know, this thing dumped down and it popped back up and then popped back down the VWAP. When you get a breakout and a pullback to the VWAP and you hold, that's your add spot. So I should have added more in this range because now this thing has really gone off to the races. And that last 1/4, I'll probably sell into this next spike somewhere around in the close to 70. So I got like 125 shares of this bad boy left. But that's like the nature. You want to wait for that rounding bottom, and then you just gotta let it go. Does that make sense? Hot damn. That's like a bread and butter type of play for me is a breakout, pullback, and then you just wait for the pattern, right? It's just about waiting for the pattern to emerge, and then you taking this thing down. And boy, Ethereum's really going on a run now. Oh, man. Check this out. So we're starting to get a monster run here, guys. This is what we've been waiting for. For those of you people that are with Honor. So like today we added Ethereum, some more Ethereum here. So after you got this big morning spike, you know, this thing came down. And once it was holding kind of these lows, you know, we added this thing into this consolidation. And I put a stop under the VWAP. And so I try not to overtime it or anything like that. I'll use my VWAP as a stop. That's like my line in the sand. And now we're really going to get this thing going. So when you think about this stuff, guys, you know, really think about like, I use loose stops. Don't go and try to get like really, really tight stops in cryptos. They just won't work. They just won't work. You know, what we want to do when you get a spike like this is you've got to give this thing room. So look, if you get a spike from say 415 to 477, that's 60 points in like a few minutes, right? So what you've got to do is you've got to really come in and say, you know what? The range is going to be huge. So I've got to give myself a loose stop. So like as this thing is starting to kind of do whatever, even though I'm in this thing over here, like I'm not going to put my stop under the 9 EMA because it's a really short pattern. I want to give it the room to start to make multiple tests of resistance so that when it goes, it really goes. I always, guys, I'm noticing that with like a good chunk of my students over the years has like been, they always use way too tight of stops. And when you do that, like you have no choice but to like always get stopped out. So don't think like you got to come in with really, really tight stops all the time. That's your classic, you're going to get stopped out all the time. So don't do it. Like I want to give myself loose stops. So like when I do a trade like this, like I had 465 entry, you know, my stop loss was at 448. So I'm going to use 20 points, right? Which is an acceptable amount considering the range on this was 70 points. I've got to use at least a good 20 to say, you know what? Here we go, right? Here we go. So just something word to the wise in terms of, you know, how you want to start trading this stuff. Don't use toe tight to stop. So let's talk about another stock trade that we did. So EOS was a big money maker for a lot of the guys in my chat room yesterday. I hopped on the EOS train real late. I woke up a little bit late and I missed the earlier entries, but this is like a same deal. So what you want to do when you're talking about something like this is how you want to trade it all. So we have this flag pattern here on the daily, all right? So you got a flag pattern here on the daily. So think about it like this. All right. So you got a flag pattern here on the daily. See how you test this level, test this level, test this level. So you got one test, two tests, three tests. Look how tight this pattern is. Man, this thing is tight, right? And if it's tight, it's right. So we got a tight pattern. So once it breaks over 6, now we are ready to shred, right? Once it breaks over 6. So when you have the trend line broke here, like, right, you have it on your 15-minute chart too, and you can see it's going to coincide with the breakout here. So once you get over 6, any of these little patterns that you see, you can start taking them for the next 3-4 days. So like this consolidation here, that's a buy. This consolidation here, that's a buy. This one is actually perfect because you got your 9 EMA right up under it. That's a buy. So like all of these are buys. Now, I unfortunately did not participate in these. It took me till later in the day to get a hold of this thing. I just missed these. I was a little bit unfocused. But into the evening, so this would have been like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, this thing starts to go on a run. And you can see like it pulls back to the 20 EMA and it starts to round. Stocks get their power. Coins get their power from consolidations and bases. So once you start to get this consolidation party going, all we want to do, and I did this right off my phone, so you guys don't even have to overthink this. I was getting pissed drunk at the beach on my phone and took this thing down. By the way, if any of you guys ever try to trade on Kraken from your phone, it is very, very difficult. Very, very difficult. So you got to you just got to market order that thing. So as this thing goes, I got like 770, 768, 770, a couple thousand shares. Just stop goes right up under this base. So you only risk about 20 cents, right? 20 cents is a acceptable and a very, very nice risk that you can take. And so very tight pattern. And then next thing you know, right into this type of spike, you want to sell off. I always sell off a third. And I don't have rules for this, Bill. I'm not into Fibonacci's and math and stuff, as you know, right? I'm a big believer in when these things, once you cover multiple times your risk, you start looking to sell. And I'd sell into spikes. I like to sell into big spikes because I know after big spikes, they just come back down and retrace. And so I want to always sell off into spikes. So I sold off some into the spike. Then this thing flags out into the next spike. I sold off the rest. I sold off some more. And then this thing came back down. And then in this range in the 880s, I sold off the rest just because I want to go to sleep. And I'll do that all the time. I could have the hottest trade around, but if a man's got to sleep, damn, a man's got to sleep. You know what I mean? And so that's just the nature of the game on something like that. And now it's still looking okay. But when you get really extended like this, what happens is when you're a brand new, guys, remember this. When you have a brand new trend, the flags are going to be really short. See that? Then as the trend gets longer, the consolidation periods get longer. So you got like short. Think about, look at this. Check this out. This was like when it first popped, the consolidation period is 3 candles. Then it's like 4 or 5 candles. Then it's like 5, 6 candles. Then it's like 5, 6 candles. Then it's like 15 candles, right? And it's like 20 candles. And now, like, right, your consolidation period is going to be a lot longer because you're starting to get more and more. You're starting to get more and more extended off the original breakout. Right? The farther you get off the original breakout, the more risk there is. And of course, the more consolidations you will need. So that's the way to go. That is the way to go. So just a simple kind of always word to the wise. Beginning of the pattern, short flags. As they go longer and you get longer in the tooth, you're going to get longer and longer kind of flags. Now, I'm also in this BNB. This is probably my favorite chart, but I always say that because I love this thing. I made more money on BNB than any coin in the market. So I always say this. You can see this bad boy looks HAWT. Pretty hot and tempting. Check this out. So look at this bad boy. All right, you can see if this thing comes out of this range. Whoa, I don't know why this thing is doing this. Let's scale this thing properly. There we go. Fucking trading view. There we go. Now this thing is looking like a little sandwich monster. So check this bad boy out. Woo! This thing breaks over that 13. It is going to be hotter than Irvin's mama. And Irvin's got a hot mama. Kind face, soft hands, and an amazing smile. So this BNB could be that. It could be the future. This is my favorite chart here. You guys remember this. When we come on next week and I say, man, did you guys hit that BNB on the breakout? And you guys are like, no, man, I missed it. There'll be no sympathy here. No sympathy. There are no quarters. I can't, Lynn. I can't. I'm just a man. Test, test, test. I'm a man, and men are pigs, and we're supposed to be pigs. That's what makes us men. Otherwise, we would just be girls in overalls that fart all the time. Like a lot. Test, test, test. Once this thing gets over, I'm really, really ready to get this thing going. So I like this one a lot. This is my favorite. I'm telling you, this is my number one for next week. So I like this one. I'm in this thing from 12, 18, give or take, average. It's been all over the place, though. Intraday, it's been like kind of spike and fade. But if this thing kind of breaks out over here at 1270s, I think it's going to be okay. It's a wild one. You know why I like this one? It's in that sweet spot of like, it's at a nice price, and it has really good volume. It's easy to get it out. And I love when I trade on Binance. I love trading on Binance because you can do it from your iPhone. I think, isn't that the best part about Binance? Like, you can do it from your damn iPhone. So you can see this is the 4-hour chart. It is zesty. I'm not sure if BTC gets to 5,000. I mean, we could be at the bottom right now. I don't know. We don't really know. Nobody knows for sure. But, to get BTC to 5,000, another 60-point drop, I'm not sure. I honestly don't know. And I'm never like I'm never big into predictions. One day I could be a bear. One day I'll be a bull. 1 minute I could be a bear. 1 minute I could be a bull. So I'm just trying to make money right now. I'm a little bit different than most people. I just want to make millions of dollars versus billions of dollars. So I don't have to be right. Oh, yeah. You know what, Lynn? I think sister is probably the way to go anyways. I'm a man looking for love. So a sister burns are way better. Yeah, and you know what? I don't even know what an Elliott wave is. I've never used it. Don't know what it is. Never even looked it up. I tried to Google it once because people talked about it, man, but it was way over my head. So, guys, let's talk a little bit about some plays to kind of keep watching. So I told you I like that BNB. I like that BNB. I know a lot of people want to know about the Litecoin. The Litecoin is not that far off its bottom. You can see, like, you got support, breaking over 9, breaking over 20. So this one's got also, you don't have resistance of 146. So I would definitely kind of keep that one on the list. Litecoin's on my ban list. You guys have, do any of you guys got a ban list? This is on my ban list. I mean, I have screwed up so many Litecoin trades. I don't even give this thing the second look, except the look of death. I hate Litecoin. Not because there's anything necessarily wrong with it. Look at this. While we're even talking, man, all these things are going. You guys got to get in the game and party. You guys got to get in the game and party because these things are going. Out of all the little altcoins, I'll tell you my favorite is probably this bat. You can see I'm using their browser right now. So I'm a big fan of bat because I've just been using their browser. But it's like with all this Facebook stuff and security stuff, bat browsers, like, it's cool. Like, people can't track all your stuff and they block all the cookies and whatever else stuff. But it's got a nice rounding bottom. And you know what? They actually have a product that people might use. So, this is probably my favorite out of all the little, coins. I'm liking the bat. I like this one. Good, man. There's some guys, get in the game. Start looking at some potentials, man. Look at all this stuff. QTUB, The problem is this: by the time you wait for the market to bottom, sometimes everything will pop 40, 50%, and you're just kind of waiting around. So make sure you pick really good entries. Make sure you pick really, really good entries, and keep an eye on some of this stuff. All these big names, this is my watch list. So write this down. These are my names. These are the names that I like. Yeah, I do have actually a summer boot camp here for boot camp students twice a year. So I have everybody coming down in a few weeks. And then I'll have another one a few weeks after that. I always have people at the house. All boot camp students they've got we got open door policy over here. Cool. Anybody got any questions? Anybody want to chat about anything? Hey, Gator. So Gator saying I was trading the NYC and NASDAQ well until about a month ago. Then I started to lose money. Yeah, Gator, I've been taking some lumps too in the stock market. The market's got a lot of opportunities to trade because of the volatility. But I think I'm oversizing a little bit. I've been like one green day, one red day, one green day, one red day for like about exactly 1 month. I was just telling my students that it's frustrating a little bit, but I think I'm oversizing. Because I was sizing when there was no volatility, when the market was just going up every day. But now you get all this action, you've got to cut your size in half. Oh, yeah, Cameron likes traveling. He's a much better traveler than I am. I don't like traveling. I go and do it for the pictures. Yeah, EOS and OMG, guys, people are asking about that. Both of those are on the watch list for me. I wouldn't chase them up here. I always wait for a setup. But if you see the pattern, yeah. John, no problem, man. I check emails every Sunday, baby. Every Sunday. I used to spend 15 minutes every day checking emails, but I realized, you know what I said to myself? What kind of baller checks his email all day, right? So now I just do it on Sundays. Well, KG, I don't do it like, while I'm working. I don't do any drugs. No weeds for me. Our next trading boot camp will start, I believe, March 11th. Rob, it's just I was just showing it. I don't have the list posted anywhere. I'm not much of a poster. You just gotta, I showed it on the thing. It was up for good 20, 30 minutes. Yeah, let me take a look here at those tickers. Oh, May 11th, I think. I'm sorry. Wayfair, Tesla, Elephant. Hold on here. Hold on, my friends. All right. Wayfair, yeah. The stock's a hoe. It's just kind of, it's in a downtrend, and I mean, you're just kind of bear flagging, so I'll leave that one alone. Tesla, man, this stock's a hoe too. Most likely, if it doesn't break out over here, probably just break back down. It could get back down to 250 if it doesn't hold here. So that one looks decent as a short. So I would keep that on the list for sure. Yeah, Rob, it never works like that. Most people, almost everybody says they got to make money before they take the boot camp. and then they just come and take the boot camp after they lost all the money they were trying to make before they took the boot camp. Seen it? I can document that at least 5,000 times. Everybody says that. If you were making money, you wouldn't need the boot camp. Ever. You're making money. Gator, what kind of long caps are you trading? Is it like high float or low float? You know, it's not necessarily market cap, but more float that comes into play than anything. The one thing I always tell my guys too is that I'm going to focus more on trading like PR and earning stocks, because they don't they move a little bit less. They move a little bit less than they don't move with the market. They move on their own. So then I got to read the market just as much. This one looks okay. It's a little bit overbought. You can see the stochastics are at 84. So you got 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, 4 days into resistance. I don't want to long anything that's 4 days long into resistance. You know what I mean? That's a little bit too much. So something like that, I probably just leave alone for now. But if it pulls back, say like it starts pulling back for a couple days and flags out here, I think that's going to give you a nice, good reward to risk. Blaze in, how you doing? Do you use market orders when trading crypto? No. I mean, I should, let me clarify that though a little bit. I will use a market order if it's an emergency and I got to get in or I got to get out. But I would prefer to use limit orders. On Kraken especially, I always use limit orders because the fees are so cheap on Kraken. And all you got to do is stick it in between the bid and ask. You can put in 3-4 orders in between the bid and ask. Make sure that you get a good limit fill. And I've been doing my USD pairs at Kraken, GDAX, and then I do USDT pairs at Binance and Bittrex. And I'll do BTC pairs if I have to, but it's just not something that I like. A Gator, I would just, whatever you're doing, just cut it in half till you start winning again. And then if you have 2 weeks of profits, raise your position size back to your normal. Does that make sense? Like, you don't have to do any special position size. Just cut it in half. Once you get on a win streak, increase it back. That's how you handle slumps, guys. When you're in a slump, you reduce your position size. Once you start winning, then you start increasing your position size. And that's really the easiest way to make sure that you have just, you're staying out of trouble. Good, 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 good. Anybody else? If Bitcoin goes super bullish again, will you do BTC pairs? Since it's better to accumulate more BTC. I don't know if it's better to accumulate more BTC. I don't know if that's the case. Because why would I want to accumulate more BTC unless it's at the price I want it? I would accumulate BTC if it's at a price I want, but to accumulate BTC at a price I don't want it at, I don't know if that's the case. But I don't know. You know, I'm just trying to make a lot of money. So it's a little bit different. I'm not like try to be a crypto nerd. I just want to make a lot of money. My man Brian, he knows a lot of stuff about this stuff. He probably has a better idea about that, but like I'm different than him. So I just want to make money. I'm not trying to build anything out of this in terms of I'm a believer in this or that. I don't give a shit. I just want to make money. Hey, Blazin, how you doing? So Blazin guy's asking, how do you find good PR earning stocks? I run a scanner on Trade Ideas for it, a gap scanner. You can do it on Trade Ideas, FinViz, probably, a whole different bunch of places. Ooh, I got some new suits too. What kind of suits do you like? I'm the master at finding good suits. I don't even wear suits that often. I'm mostly dressed like this, but I got a lot of good, cool suits. Cornolio, awesome name, by the way. Awesome name, by the way. So, guys, Cornolio, my good friend here. I don't know if Vera Wang makes suits. I thought that was for chicks. But what do I know? I don't use any indicators to go long. I use indicators to confirm price action. I look for specific patterns to go long. So flat top breakout, flag breakout, base breakout, breakout pullbacks, breakout remounts, VWAP plays. I would use any of those type of patterns to get into a trade, amongst many others. Hey, Lynn, you come to my house in Destin, I've got literally hundreds of them. I will get one to you. I could probably just mail you one, but, I'm not the best at remembering those things. Oh, yeah. Theodore, I heard that in Thailand, Hong Kong, they make good suits. My only thing was, man, everybody's so short there. I don't trust anybody sizing me when I'm towering over them like that. They'd be with the tape measure like this. They'd have to get on some stools. VWAP plays. My VWAP plays are not an indicator-based play, though. There's a setup behind it. A list of conditions that must trigger before a trade is taken. A VWAP is just one part of it. Burn. Llewellyn, my friend, I'll get you one. Hey, man, I'm Shaq and Hart. That's all that matters. Oh, man, I'd come to India for boot camp for sure, but, man, Indians are too damn cheap. Man, you ever do business with the Indian person? This is what they do. They call you up at like 5 in the morning, say, hey, buddy, Kunal, are you awake? You say, I am now. What's up? Hey, buddy, tell me something. How's the market looking today? Oh, who is this again? Hey, buddy, it's your friend. Hey, buddy, tell me something. Hey, you got any good deals today? What's hot? What's hot? Can't deal with the Indians. I love my people, but they cheat. They cheat. Irvin, I haven't heard about the Supreme Court versus Wayfair. Hey, buddy, tell me something. This is how it usually goes. Hello? Hello, Kunal, is that you? Yeah, you called my phone. Kunal, that's you, my friend? Oh, good. Hey, buddy, tell me something. Ahmed knows. Ishu, you know what I'm talking about. Oh, my dad don't even talk like that, though. He'd just be like, Kunal, you motherfucker, pick up the phone. What's up? Anybody else got any questions? Kunal, you motherfucker, you mother bitch, you pick up the phone right now. Your mother is looking for you. Oh, shit. Yeah. We have the hats. Let me see here. If you go, let me find it. Hey, Barty, tell me something. If I could turn back time, if I could find a way. That's your T's, baby. T's and caps. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I got crypto stuff too, I think. Hold on. I got to get it probably on the website. If I could turn back time. Oh, yeah. I got all sorts of little crypto things. I made these t-shirts. Hold on. Let me get them. Let me type out these links. And the other one was Bose Gear. That's for the bulls on Wall Street. Oh, yeah. Anybody else got any anybody got any questions? Oh, yeah. We had a really nice group of people over here last time when we had summer boot camp. These are all my peoples. I haven't been wiring in and out of Kraken. What I've been doing is just sending the money back to Coinbase. Yeah, I just been sending the money back to Coinbase, and then that's it. Cool.